Okay? How long? A discussion at the board of directors, it encompassed almost a complete hour. And it's important that you understand, because this election is very important, and it's kind of off topic with nominations, but it relates. Mrs. Wildman, who is the chair of the board, allowed the tax assessor collector to make a motion without board approval. Now, the property tax code states that the tax assessor can't make motions, only if granted by the board. So the board would have to make a rule allowing the tax assessor to make these motions. No board has ever done so. So she makes a motion, so point of order, it's way out of order, and this motion was made on December 11th of 2020. So you can go to the audio of December 11th of 2020. And the meeting was to award a homestead exemption review contract. Now, some of these cities, when you click on the agenda item, will go right to that part of the video, or they don't have that, so it goes right to the direction of the audio. Maybe something that needs to be done. You can maybe have an interactive agenda, click on 6A, and the audio pops up. So you're not hunting and pecking. Anyway, I'll move further. The meeting to award homestead exemption review contract to Lionbarger, who we all know who Lionbarger is, at the highest tier. There were 3 tiers for this. There was a low, medium, and then the highest tier. This information was not in the agenda packet. That would the motion Burgess made was for the highest tier, and it wasn't even in the agenda packet. There wasn't even a dollar amount signed to it. This information, like I said, was in the packet, and it had been awarded, would have been a legal award of contract. No counsel was associated with the motion. The motion did fail, but the chair of the board, Ms. Wildman, and R.J. Martinez, who will be the 4th ISD nominee, voted for it. Your nominee voted against it, Mr. Lasada, along with 2 other board members. There could have been consequences had that motion passed. And you can listen to it, and it's really appalling to me, the way it worked. But thank goodness we have conscientious people on that board to stand up and say no. And if you listen to the audio, you're putting your vote to the right person. Thank you so much. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 1064-2021, nominating Gary Lasada.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Did we get Steve's vote?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, I think.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll see you again. Thank you, sir. I appreciate what you do.
Bye-bye.
So, we're going to be going late here.
No.
Consider approval of ordinance 1328-2021, amending Article 3.12 signs of the River Oaks Code of Ordinances by revising Section 3.12.138 mural signs, specifically in Section 3.12.138E, text and symbols, and by incorporating section buildings located within the city limits. I think I read that wrong. Exceptions establishing requirements for permitting mural signs on buildings located within the city limits. So
I think this is basically about the size of the symbols. What's in there now is 20%.
one of the things that I had mentioned when we were talking about this was, and we now have somebody wanting to do exactly the example that I gave, was talking about letters in a mural. We were talking about it not being advertising, but I had mentioned that, like, and now I see that several cities, but Austin has one, for instance, that looks like an old 50s postcard, and it says Austin, and it's actually a place in a really bad part of town, but people go there and do their selfies. I understand you have to wait in line. I saw this in Texas Monthly. You have to wait in line to go over there and take your picture of this selfie. And, we have a new restaurant coming to town that wants to do exactly that. He wants a big mural on the side of his building that will say, "Welcome to River Oaks." The other one I'm talking about the old postcards that used to have the letters, and then inside each letter it would have pictures of things that look like the city is. And so he's wanting to do that, and then our ordinance, I think, inadvertently got written incorrectly, because we talked about that specific thing, and I think in here now it says that the letters can't be 20% of the height of the mural or something like that.
I left the whole thing blank is for y'all to determine a percentage, because text and symbols are limited right now in the ordinance by 20%
Okay.
of the size of the entire mural. So, I'm asking for y'all's direction. I didn't put anything in there because I'm not sure what you want.
So, yeah, so that was my idea, and I'd like to see this particular one go, so I don't know how we have to address, how that would affect future murals. If we all like that idea for this particular one, then how do we make an ordinance that it would still be in effect for others?
I thought the mayor had talked about putting a board together to judge each mural individually at one time.
Betsy said we can't do that.
Oh, okay.
You can't, correct me if I'm wrong, Betsy.
Collectively.
We can't, it's freedom of speech and arts.
You have to have identifiable criteria. It can't just be, I like that one, I don't like that one.
Right, because we're judging art and freedom of speech, I guess, so.
If you put an arbitrary number in there and then with a clause, if you want to go above whatever that number is, then it has to be council approved. They bring in a rendering drawing of it, and we look at it and say, yea or nay then.
Kind of like going before.
So that's what she's saying, I think that's what she's saying we can't do.
Well, you can't judge the art, but I think if you are, so if we're just looking at text and symbols, we could, so what brought this on is, so we have a business that wants to say, welcome to River Oaks?
Yes. And in my opinion, what he's wanting to do, I think, would be an asset to our city.
I think the limitation was so that they couldn't use it as a sign for their business, right?
So,
Like donuts wouldn't have big donuts spelled across it.
Right?
So what he's trying to do is different than what this is trying to do. So maybe we can be more specific in how we craft the description.
and I think if you made an exception, we have exceptions here, if you made an exception for a mural that promotes the city of River Oaks, I mean, that could be an exception.
I would certainly be for that, you know.
I know
Because then we would be deciding, which, that doesn't sound right either, wouldn't we then be deciding whether it promotes River Oaks in a positive manner or not?
Well, I think we could, if it is promoting the city of River Oaks and not the business, I think we could make that one category subject to approval of some committee of some sort. But what you can't do is just have a committee saying, I like that mural because I like yellows more than blues, you know. But if we have a set criteria of promoting the city of River Oaks, then I think that is defensible.
I certainly like that. I mean, I still question how, I don't know how legally, you know, the easiest thing to use as an example is, of course, pornography. So if you have a nude can be, you know, certainly a piece of art, but possibly what the nude is doing is, it can change that subject matter
Okay, do the new